have some offensive guys on here, but I'll start with the one that I kind of keep coming back to. And then Charles actually was the one that tabbed this one. I think we've been actually consistent with it on the three that we've done together. And it's Cooper DeJean, defensive back to the Rams at pick 19. And this is because I think the Rams need defensive help. They need defensive needle movers, but they're a really fun team. I've liked what they did on offense in free agency. So it's kind of, I feel the offense is kind of set.
Yeah.
Unless Bowers falls to them, which I don't think he would, but like Bowers from the McVay offense would be like, oh my God, like, yeah, like five thumbs up. I'd just love that forever. But we want Cooper DeJean because there's been discussion, because of, is he an outside corner? Is he a slot? Is he a safety? I think yes is the answer. I really think he's a plus player at all those spots. Why I like Cooper DeJean with the team like the Rams is they have holes at all those kind of spots. They have decent answers, but it's just put him where he can fill the best spot. It's like a versatile offensive lineman that, we need a right guard. Okay, this guy could slot in at right guard. Cooper DeJean, if they need a safety, if they need a slot, they need an outside corner, there he is. And I think he's a dynamic player. I'm super high on him. I think he's a blue chip player in this draft. So Cooper DeJean to the Rams at pick 19.
I like this because you're right. You look at the offense, you feel like that's a group that you could probably roll into week one with the guys that you've got right now. Now, tight end is, like you mentioned, Brock Bowers. That's a little bit of a questionable spot because Tyler Higbee's banged up, but I like a couple of the little flashes I saw from Davis Allen, who was a rookie last year from them. I think, was it the Ravens game or one game like late in the season? I was like, who is this guy like popping up?
Ravens game.
Yeah, I think it was the Ravens game. Like, popping up for a couple little catches, stuff like that. So maybe you think you can develop him a little bit. Obviously, they signed Colby Parkinson in free agency. They gave him a 3-year deal. We know what they did on the offensive line. We talked about that a lot on this show as like a double down on what they were last year from a man gap run perspective. I think that's going to be exciting. You could maybe think about I think at some point they'll think receiver in the draft. But not in the first round because you have Cooper Kupp, you have Puka Nacua, and Demarcus Robinson gave him some nice snaps last year. So you can think about receiver depth later on. But yeah, offensively in round one, it kind of totally wouldn't make sense to me. So I love the pick of DeJean here, who's a versatile player. And now that there's no Aaron Donald, Nate, tell me who are the three best true needle movers on that defense.
Well, they drafted Byron Young last year on day 2, and he was older, but interesting story. Like he was he took to football late. He bounced around, went to a military academy, I believe, as well. And he's kind of considered quite raw coming into the league, and maybe a designated pass rusher that could play 15 snaps a game as a rookie. Ended up being a full-time starter and playing quite well, and that's one guy that could be a needle mover. The other one is Kobe Turner, which is a nose tackle or a defensive tackle that they drafted. And his production, his sack total is a little higher than maybe his pressure rates and everything, but he's a good player. And another guy that they drafted on day 2. That's about it.
Yeah.
As far as true needle movers. And then they have some interesting guys. I don't know what they'll do with Michael Hoyt, who's just he's more of a mean player, but he's a 305-pound T-Rex armed Canadian, former Ivy League guy, undrafted free agent that they would have drop into coverage sometimes. It'd be hilarious, but he's actually not a bad player.
Yeah.
Ernest Jones, the linebacker, is a pretty good player as well. He had a really nice Super Bowl a couple of years ago against the Bengals. But so that's really it. So they need guys that are blue chip guys. They have some nice building blocks, but maybe just another guy to have some juice in there.
Yeah, Michael Hoyt's funny you brought him up because he is a nice player, but there are so many times when you're watching games on Sunday where it is like the most memorable thing with him is how is a guy wearing 97 covering this player? Like that, there were multiple times during the season, but I'm asking you that.
He was like that basketball player that gets dunked on all the time. And it's like, he's not a bad player. He just keeps getting caught in these spots. It just happens.
Yeah, it does happen. I ask you this as who are the three players that are needle movers on that defense? I feel like if I asked probably 99% of the population, they would not be able to give me 3 names. That's just the state of this Rams defense. So I like this move. I think it can be a really good fit for them to just, again, get a quality difference maker on that defense and a guy that, well, you know what? We need help here. Well, maybe he can help you at multiple spots. And then eventually by year 2, year 3, you're looking at him as like a Kyle Hamilton type. Is like, all right, now we have a true kind of vision for him as a player.
Yep. That's it. It's just put him where he can affect the game the most. So yeah, that's exactly it.